Europe, Hitler's railways are the lifeblood of the Nazi Empire, running the war from a fleet of personal trains.
We're in the exact spot where Hitler spent a few days during the invasion of Poland.
And driving the war effort with a powerful and efficient railway.
Oh, it really is just phenomenal, isn't it? So much of the German war machine existed because of locomotives like this.
In Japan, one of the most audacious construction projects of World War II.
The railway has just sliced through the landscape like a knife through butter.
Built in horrific conditions under brutal Japanese captivity.
They literally turned these things into hell on the rails.
All to serve Japan's dreams of empire in Asia. These are the stories of World War II's most deadly railways. The story of the Nazi railways begins when Hitler becomes chancellor in 1933. The Nazis want to upgrade the rail network to show the awesome power of the Third Reich.
They've got this empire, and it needs feeding, it needs resourcing, it needs funding. And the trains are the only viable, realistic workhorse that can provide those transportation needs.
In September 1935, the railways deliver 800,000 people to the biggest Nazi rally ever staged at Nuremberg. A year later, rail facilities across the Reich are upgraded for the world's biggest show, the Berlin Olympics in 1936. And in a single year, Hitler's railways transport 9 million tons of freight and 400,000 laborers to build defenses on the German western border in preparation for war. State-owned, the Reichsbahn is the largest commercial enterprise in the world.
The whole structure of the Nazi state, the whole structure of the Nazi war machine is completely dependent on the railways.
In March 1938, Germany annexes Austria, and a year later, Hitler's forces occupy the western provinces of Czechoslovakia. One of the Nazis' first actions is to take over the running of the railways, expanding Nazi control to over 40,000 miles of track. But for Hitler, the railway is much more than a machine of mass transport. It's a symbol of power. As chancellor, he's given a train to travel the country. But as Hitler marches towards war, he orders the Führer Sonderzug, or Führer's special train, codenamed America.
The name is important to Hitler because it's named after a trench where he served during the First World War, and that's why it's called America.
The train is the Führer's armored stronghold on rails, and it gives Hitler a mobile command center, which will allow him to control the impending war from the front lines. On September 1st, 1939, Germany invades Poland. 250 trains a day mobilized to transport troops and weapons to the front. Former Army Captain Patrick Bury is exploring a railway relic from Hitler's invasion of Poland, the abandoned station at Jalowa.
It's pretty amazing to be here because, although it mightn't look like much now, for 3 days in September 1939, it was the command center of the Reich. This is the exact spot where Hitler, his Nazi elite, and the Army High Command spent a few days during the invasion of Poland. And the reason they're here is because Hitler's train, and in particular his new command wagon, allows him to keep in constant contact with the advancing troops. And this is basically the closest railhead to the front line, and that's why Hitler wants to be here.
In modern parlance, we'd call Hitler a control freak. He likes being involved in the minutiae of military operations. The only way you can do that and travel and move from A to B and still be in control is in a train.
By using his train as a base, Hitler travels even closer to the front, meeting his fighting forces face to face.
What he's trying to do, really, is show that he's a different kind of general from the generals that he served under in the First World War, where the generals were always far back and removed from the front line. And so he wants to show himself in front of his troops, show his troops that they care, and show that he's in charge.
The invasion of Poland lasts just 5 weeks.
With victory in Poland, Hitler's command style, which relies on his train, has proved itself.